something like that.
Funny. I didn't remember that. Good morning.
You know
Morning,
what?
Vanessa.
I had said I wanted the trees laced, and when I came out, your idea of lacing was cut out every limb, every other limb at the trunk. And I said,
Oh, I gotta start the meeting. Good morning, everyone. Well, good to be here. Thank you. Welcome to the Traffic Commission meeting for the City of Rolling Hills on September 25th. I'd like to call the meeting to order and roll call.
Commissioner Rain,
Here.
Commissioner Virtue,
here,
Commissioner Varner,
Here.
Vice Chair Bobbitt is absent, and Chair Wilson.
Here. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Could I get a motion to approve the order of the agenda?
So moved.
Second? Second. Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Blue folder items?
None
I see
today.
none, okay. Before we do public comment, I'd like to welcome the newest addition to our commission, Bill Varner. Welcome. Thank you. Newest commission member, and I don't know, it's been a few years now. But welcome. If you'd like to introduce yourself and just say a few words about you.
Sure, I'll be happy to. So, first of all, I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be here. I appreciate it very much. My wife and I are among the newer residents. We've been here in Rolling Hills a little more than a year. And we came...
Takes about 20 to get settled.
Yeah, and that's what I understand. And so we previously lived in a development called Vantage Point on the other part of Crest Road, on the public side of Crest Road. So it was a gated, guarded, 24-hour community. And in addition to being on the Vantage Point HOA Board of Directors, I was head of the Security Committee, and I also was on the Rolling Hills State's Traffic Committee for 4 or 5 years. So I am theoretically retired, at least I'm not working full-time. I'm enjoying being on 2 corporate boards of directors right now, both of which are companies located back in the Washington, D.C. area supporting the intelligence community. So that's my background. I'm happy to be here.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you for your commitment to public service, and we welcome you.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I would like to take public comment for any non-agenda items. Please come up, sir.
Hi, good morning. How are you today? My name is Robert Tun. I'm a resident of Rolling Hills. I live at 2 Roadrunner Road. And, well, I'm here today. I bet you've been wondering why I'm here. I was invited by, of course, city manager to be here to discuss an issue that I noticed I thought all of you should know about. And my understanding is that in the Traffic Commission's evaluation of locating a mother truck site, in this situation, terrain stability is a very important consideration. So as a concerned resident at Roadrunner, I want to be responsible in letting you know that I have saw evidence of seismic, geologic hazard, safety hazard at this Roadrunner location, where I see the mother truck staging activity over the past 6-7 months. So in that regard, I did try to notify at first, I think Dawn of the Republic Services, and I left a message. She didn't answer. She didn't call back, and a call again. She didn't call back. So I said, how do I get my voice heard? So what I did, I decided to write an email to the ad hoc committee, the waste recycling ad hoc committee, and also to Vanessa Munoz, the traffic engineer, about the severity of the situation. So what I did is I want to pass out this to you, and this is the email that I sent to the health committee and Mrs. Munoz, the traffic engineer, and I want you to take a look at this, my comments and what I've seen. Shall I pass this out to,
Motion to receive and file.
yeah. Any,
Let
yes,
me just advise
Yeah,
you, that
yes.
this is public comment, and we won't be discussing.
Okay, that's
this
fine.
matter. We'll
That's fine.
take
I agree. I understand this.
Thank you.
So I will pass this out, and, please review this. And including this document, I also included some issues I've noticed regarding the email that I sent to I think it was Lori and the general manager of Republic Services regarding some issues that I've seen. And it may be not as simple as what they say. According to the agenda items I saw recently, that their reason was the staging site, they don't have enough staging sites, and that's why they have some disruptions. And I don't agree with that. I've seen other things personally, and I observed there's other serious issues regarding the mother truck activities. It's more related with equipment than anything else. And I hope this email could explain, and you can understand what I'm trying to refer to at this time. Okay? Thank you very much. I have, how many copies do you need? I have about 7 or 8, yeah.
Can I get a motion to receive and file the documents Mr. Tun has submitted?
Second.
I need a motion first. Motion to receive and file? Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't say anything.
Motion to receive.
Motion to receive and file.
A second.
Okay.
Anybody else? Bill seconds. Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Please pass out the documents, and thank you for your comments, sir.
Thank you. And just one last thing. I really would like you to invite all of you to drop by the site, which is the site at Roadrunner, the mother truck staging activity site. And I think sometimes looking at things speaks 1,000 words. And, speaking how it is, how bad it is not. It's really a safety issue, that's what I consider. And to continue to use the site will lead to further instability of the terrain slope subgrade. And as I have mentioned earlier in my email, I do notice that there are major cracks or features along the road, a long one, not a short one, that is getting wider and wider after the truck has been located at that site. So there are signs that there's a stop sign on the pavement shoulder where there is built up of wood chips, and the pavement shoulder of the stop sign has tilted significantly since then. So that's a sign of landslide, potential landslide, or erosion of the road surface. So this is it's serious what I'm seeing, and it's something important that I thought all of you should follow up on it. Hopefully get back to me, and as I said, I'll invite all of you to come by and take a look at it. I can walk over some of the things that I noticed, and go on from there.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Okay, is there any other public comment on non-agenda items? Okay, we'll move on to,
It looks like Judith.
oh, sorry, Judith. Come on up.
Thank you so much.
Hi, sorry I'm late, a little foggy up on Crest. Anyway, and that's my point, I wanted to know if there's any update on putting the reflectors and updating the, you call them paddles, along Eastfield on the curve that are leaning and not reflective?
Staff is still working on that, and they'll go up sometime in the coming months. Yep.
Okay, not forgotten, but, this is city business. Takes a little while.
Okay, it's fine, I just was wondering if it's, that it was spoken at a meeting, but I just wanted to know if it's in the works at least. And then also, I just wanted to bring attention, I know there's some other things that I've brought up to traffic before about speed signs and just friendly neighborhood signs for speeding and stuff. I was just Googling when National Traffic Safety Month is, and it's not till August, but maybe around that time, either there can be more real push, either we can put a couple of those, lawn signs at some of the speed, in front of some of the speed thingies and near stop signs. I know you don't like that idea, but at least they're not permanent.
I believe this was, sorry for my memory lapse here, but I believe this was heard by the city council and
Correct.
Karina? So, and the city council was not supportive of that?
Yeah, well, I just want to see if there's any way to revisit, at least for National Safety Month, just some things that we can readdress to see if we can get people to stop at the stop signs and slow down.
If you have an alternate proposal, you might want to bring that up a few months before then,
Okay, I see that,
for reconsideration.
okay, I see, and Ty's not here, but he's not going to be here today? Because I know that he's brought up, and it's on there about marking speed on Crest.
You're right, that issue.
So I know you're going to bring it up, but,
Yeah, that was the painting, the speed limit. Do you know where?
It's on the agenda today.
It's here.
agenda for today. So at least that's something, but,
Okay.
I'll come visit you again before August.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Judy. Any other public comment before we move on? Okay, seeing none, we'll go on to consent calendar. So if you've had an opportunity to look through it, there is a motion to approve, or I'm looking for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
Is there a second?
You all should be glad I'm here.
All right, all in favor of accepting the consent calendar, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all right. And we don't have any excluded consent. Presentation, the sheriff's department.
Good morning, Commission. My name's Deputy Glossick again. I am one of the Hill units that covers the traffic. So for the designated months so far, I believe we have 22 citations. I believe it was 13 for speed, and the rest were for stop signs at numerous locations, such as most of the speed enforcement was done on Crest and Johns Canyon, and we have a couple stop sign violations from, I believe, Eastfield and Branding Iron, Poppy Trail and Portuguese Bend, and that's so far it. I did have a question of what specific areas would you guys like us to target, and what violations other than the main areas that we've been covering? Like I said at the last meeting, I'm 2 months into this job, so I'm trying to get a feel for what the needs are of you guys, so we can better target those specific areas.
You're referring to this report here, right? That's the-
I don't have that report. I have a report that I was able to generate just on my own, so I'm not 100% sure.
We have two reports here. One is, it looks like it's from July 1st to August 31st with,
Got it. The one I was sent was a May, so it was the last month's file, so I didn't have that one, so I was just able to print stuff up from our records that I have.
I'm curious how we got information that you don't have.
Deputy, you said you've been with the Sheriff's Department at Lomita Station just recently, correct?
I've been assigned to Lomita Station now for 8 years. I did most of my time on the early mornings, which is roughly 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. Just over the last 2 months, I just moved to the traffic unit.
Okay, that's probably why, Chair Wilson. There has been a transition of personnel throughout the station, so if you happen to be recently assigned to this division within the station, you may not necessarily have the current staff. They may have come in from a previous deputies, so.
We're working through to get all this stuff, so I don't know if I have access to this yet.
Where did you get the information from them?
We get it from their superiors, so Sergeant McCoy and Sergeant Cervantes, but he will now be transitioning to another role. There's a lot of movement
A
happening.
lot of transition within the Lomita station, people are moving on to different divisions. So the individuals who provide these documents are sergeants and or other deputies. If you recall, we've had Deputy Beltran Lopez come here a couple times, Scott Weathery, so now that we have an assigned deputy, he will be working closely with staff and the traffic commission moving forward. So I know he may not have this report at this time, he'll be able to provide future reports. And that's why he's here today, to kind of familiarize himself with our organization, but most importantly, to know what are the needs and wants of the traffic commission, so that way he can go back to the station and focus on those areas.
You know, it's hard to pinpoint, because I could say something and then Commissioner Ray may have a different opinion, and believe me, the residents all have opinions, because they're most concerned about what happens
Absolutely.
in front of their house, whether it's a stop sign or on Crest with the speeding. So, you know, based on limited resources, there's no way you're gonna be able to satisfy everyone.
Correct.
I totally understand that. But having said all that, all my disclaimers, you know, the speeding on Crest is probably the top issue. Not just for the residents that live on Crest, but there's a lot of pedestrians on Crest, occasionally equestrians, and that's where you see the 50-plus, you know, speed violators. Occasionally, well, not occasionally, Portuguese Bend is regarding speeding, Portuguese Bend is probably the second most complained about. And that's not to take away from streets like Eastfield, you know, the through streets, basically. Everybody lives on a cul-de-sac, well, unless you live on one of the through streets that I just mentioned, you live on a cul-de-sac, so speeding is not impossible, but it's harder to build up speed on a short, you know, curvy road.
Yeah.
So I would say, that is my opinion at least. I'd like to hear from other commission members.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I'm curious, I don't know if you have this in front of you.
I do now.
So that is just representing 2 days?
So,
I believe this is the supplemental report.
yeah, so I believe, so from what I'm looking at, I believe this is the supplemental, the overtime that you guys, well, the stats that I were,
For your edification, the city of Rolling Hills pays the sheriff's department, we have a budget for supplemental traffic enforcement, and that's what this page here represents. So it is only 2 days, but that's the days they specifically work only for us, only, you know, looking for violations to help mitigate some of the traffic conditions.
So I'm assuming the other
violations.
violations are gonna be on Crest Road.
This is the.
Okay,
regular, I think.
yeah, but it's not showing where.
No.
So
Yeah,
I'm
so-
sure you're bouncing around, because a lot of times you have Crest Road violations.
Yeah, so I'd say more than half are Creston, John Canyon. There's a couple I see that are Creston, Portuguese Bend, and that's just traffic stops from the units that patrol the area throughout the 2-month window.
I mean, to me, I agree with
Yeah.
Chairman Wilson. It's essentially, you're kind of hitting all the high spots here.
Okay.
I think.
Now, you know, there's different opinions about stop sign violations. I would say not to focus largely on stop sign violations. You know, I get it. A rolling stop, it's a violation, but, you know, how fast was it? Was it less than 5 miles an hour? Was it 15 miles an hour? I mean, you know, I'm sure you've heard stories or even seen, you know, drivers just slowing down, looking both ways and keep going.
Yeah.
That's clearly a safety concern. But I gotta say, and I think most residents, unless the stop sign's in front of your house, you may have a different opinion, but most residents are most impacted by the speeding. And I have to add one thing here. I've been the subject of being, you know, driving at or just above the speed limit on Crest, for example. And boy, you know, I don't know if it's a resident or a visitor, but when they get on your tail and just hound you, you know, it's infuriating, but it's also very, very much a safety hazard as well. And I've never done a brake check. I've never done that to anybody because I don't want the repercussions from that. But, you know, the urge is there. It's like, you know, it's a double yellow line, so you can't legally passed, but that doesn't prevent people from doing that. But I would just be observant of that, you know, somebody that's trying to do the right thing, trying to stay within the speed limit, and then, you know, being punished for their good behavior. So, I don't know how often you cite, following too closely or whatever that violation is, but,
Yeah, there's a few things. You can still technically, if you were to get technical, cite for unsafe speed, because technically, if they're traveling on a roadway, and they're traveling at the distance where that would be, I'd have to double check, because I do know that we do cite for municipal codes back here, if there is a municipal code for the following too closely.
good question.
I think it is.
I'd have to double check, but I'm pretty sure that the other one would just be the speed limit, and if they're tailgating, there's some leeway that we could maybe work with that, but I'll double check and I could get back to you on that one.
I mean, I'm sure every one of us, no matter what speed we travel down Portuguese Bend, had been subject to being, you know, followed way too closely, and you know, these foggy conditions,
Yeah,
it's really bad, so.
Okay.
Any other,
I was just gonna say, on Portuguese Bend too, when I go in second gear down and follow the speed limit, and they pass me on a double yellow line around a curve and what have you, it's very hard for you to catch them doing that. But that is something that I think happens too frequently. Now, they pass on Crest Road, but it's not as dangerous. It's a lot more open. But on Portuguese Bend, I can't tell you how many times they've just gone right around me down on a curve and what have you. So anyway, but I think for me, speed is the one thing that we hear from all the residents is how fast, especially if they're walking or, you know, out, not in a car. Those are the people that really feel the speed, so.
yeah, and statistically,
And I also wanted to say to our new resident, when we do the supplemental, we are limited in getting that done because the officers who do it on their second shift or after their own shift. And they can't always get somebody to do it. So we have the money, but we don't always have somebody who can do it. So that's something that we run into, so.
yeah, statistically speaking, unsafe speed is the #1 cause for accidents in the state of California, actually across the country. So that is something that we do like to try to enforce. And so if you guys are on board with that, we'll continue doing that along with the target areas of those stop signs. Because I've been back here a few times and I've seen people do 25 through a stop sign, and that's
not a rolling stop.
Exactly. So it's like, I understand if you're coming up and you slow down the 5 miles an hour and you kind of don't come to the complete stop, I understand. Yeah, I can understand that, but if you're just without due regard going through an intersection, that's where the safety concerns.
So I have a technical question, if you know the answer to this, but in my vehicle, there is a display that shows the speed limit on whatever street that I'm on. It's usually pretty accurate. Sometimes it's off by 5 miles an hour or something, but until just a few days ago, I never noticed that it had speed limits for rolling hills. It was just blank. So I don't know if anybody else has this on their cars, but just a couple of days ago, I noticed it started showing what was the purported speed limit. And I noticed going up Portuguese Bend, it was at 25. Well, I know the speed limit's 30. You know, so I thought that's odd, it's off by, but I didn't think too much about it. And then as I got further up Portuguese Bend, it did turn to 30. I thought, okay, that's fine. Then I got to the top, and I live on the other side, so I went down, and the speed limit, the posted speed limit is 15, but my display showed 5, and I thought, that's that's going to take me a while to get home.
Yeah.
Until I turned right on my cul-de-sac, like I mentioned, and then suddenly it shot up to 25. Well, I can't possibly do more than 10 miles an hour on my cul-de-sac because of the turn and the dips and stuff. It's in the slide area. And I just thought, I don't know who manages or controls this data that comes onto my dashboard, but how do they get that data?
I'm not 100% sure, because I've noticed the same thing. I'm curious to see if my GPS will show it now, because in the past it's never, just because it's been a private community and a private roadway. So I'm not 100% sure.
They are not reporting it.
Yeah.
It is. And now it's showing up, but it's inaccurate.
I don't know if it has to do with something with the traffic surveys or something like that. I'm not sure who's in charge of that or how that.
It'll be a puzzlement, because
Yeah.
I'm sure our city's not, intentionally reporting out. You guys got probably not enough time to fiddle with traffic speed limits.
It could be also, as Google is getting better at the imaging, they could be picking up, they don't get into your streets, they don't drive it, But the technology's getting really good where a lot of it is picking up signs and what's posted. But again, it's not validated, so it might not be accurate, and maybe that might be the inconsistency. There's just a lot of technology now that we don't,
Yeah.
it's picking up data, and it's not validated.
I think Google does make it, so don't we have street views on our?
I don't see street view. You have a aerial view, but not a.
I never checked, but I just assumed there was
Because
street
it's
views.
private.
Yeah,
You
I
only get
understand.
here, just a
Really? Well, good for
Like
us.
an aerial, you can drop the little person down the street. Yeah.
That's good to know, okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you for, any other questions?
No, just one statement from staff's perspective. So when we do see stop signs, specific areas, you'll notice clusters within the supplemental. It's usually because we have requested some type of supplemental spot enforcement at those areas.
They'll get a
And-
resident that, comes and complains, rightfully so, that right in front of their house, the cars just whiz right by. And, we try to be proactive and assist our residents with these types of issues. So I'm not saying no to stop signs by any means, but, if you're 50-50 and can't decide what to do on that day,
Okay,
speeding on Crest, I think would be the appropriate use of time.
sounds good.
First of all, I'll just second all of your comments. And I personally spend a fair amount of time on Crest Road, probably as much as anybody, walking my wife's dog. Not my dog, my wife's dog. And we walk on one side or the other, and especially going, there's a slight hill heading toward the Crest Gate, downhill, and I'll tell you, I would swear cars are going 50 miles an hour, maybe more. And the other day, there was one going so fast, I was tempted to wave to him, but I figure that's dangerous for the driver also. But what about, have we ever considered those signs that the sheriff's department, the police departments have that say speed limit 30, your speed is?
Yeah, we have.
Whatever it-
We have, and
Do they help any?
we've considered that. We haven't tried that. They tend to conflict with equestrians, for one thing. That's what we've been told, at least. Flashing lights and horses aren't, real
Right.
real good pals.
Right.
I don't know when the last time we even had this discussion was. Probably before your time.
Since I've been here, we've talked about it.
Bill, you live in anti-sign country.
Yeah, that's the other part of it, right?
I understand that. And I agree with that.
Well, we also have had the sheriff's car parked just as a deterrent,
decoy.
even though nobody's in there giving tickets. But when people see the car, it does cause them to slow down for some period of time.
Even if they're
And
doing
we do
speed
that
bump.
periodically.
Tap the brakes. And that's something we haven't done that for quite a long time. It's certainly worth considering. A decoy car is what I'm talking about. It's just an unmanned vehicle that just sits there in the usual place, like you said, Johns Canyon and
Well,
Crest.
you'll see one at the corner of Open Brand and Eastfield with the, Phil Norman's got a car that if you look at it from the front, it looks like a cop car. He parks it out there all the time. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Notice. And people will comment, oh, that's dumb, why did they put that out there? But they're the first one to
I
tap
think
their
they
brakes
bought it
when they go by.
specifically to do that.
Kind of stuff. If we're running a radar or something like that, by the time the person that's speeding sees us, we already have the speed that we want. And then you'll see the car lurch forward from the brakes and thinking that they're slowing down, but it's already too late. By the time you see us, we've already got the speed that we want, so.
Well, if you would take back our consideration or request for consideration for a decoy car, I
Okay.
don't know that it would cause any harm to anybody, and, it's been probably at least 3 years or more since we had one out there.
Okay.
It generated discussion, and that's always a good thing too about, just the general situation with the unsafe speeds in rolling hills, so.
Sounds
we
good.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, I see your comment, or your hand, Judith, hold on a second. Okay, any further questions from the deputy? No. Okay, public comment?
Aren't you Glad I showed up this morning. Comment about everything. So I just wanted to say that the other day I was walking Crest, and there was a officer giving tickets at Johns Canyon, and it didn't even seem to me the cars were going as fast as some cars that I have seen going on Crest. But that is definitely a good place to have a check place. And also, when you go down Eastfield towards the Eastfield gate, literally at Eastfield and Chuckwagon, you think it's not much of a decrease, but I walk sometimes right in my neighborhood, and I see cars all the time. I happen to be maybe on Chuckwagon, and I'll just watch cars flying through that stop sign going towards the, do you know where I'm talking about? Yeah, going towards the Eastfield gate. Also, back a while ago, I had made a comment about that somebody passed me going, people are going fast going down Portuguese Bend, but I had somebody one night pass me going up Portuguese Bend. And it took me a while, and I thought, okay, am I going to speed up just a little to see where they live? And so I did follow them to where they lived, and I called the gate, and the gate person happened to know that person, so he said that he would have conversation. But I know in the past Mark has commented, and maybe you'll comment again, about that when you see that, like he was going so fast I couldn't even get a license plate. So all I could say is like, oh, it was a great pickup truck, or this one was a Tesla.
I drive a great pickup.
Oh, no, but this,
Did it
no.
have drums in the back?
Wasn't you, because
Sign roller, not a speed.
I didn't see the drum kit in the back. No, this particular time it was a Tesla, and, there's a handful of them up here, and I saw where it went, but I can't remember, you said that we should call the gate or call City Hall and report them and stuff, so. But it was crazy. I couldn't believe somebody was passing me going uphill. And then just, when people are on my tail when I'm on Crest or whatever, because I do try to be one of those people that does the speed limit so I can show other people an example, I'll just pull over if they're too close to me, because I just, it's like enough is enough. But anyway, okay, so thank you for the
If I may. If residents experience that there are incidents like this occurring, it's always best to just let us know. We don't need the make, the model, or the license plate, because we can't get a deputy out there looking for this, because they have to base their citations and or whatever they're going to issue at the moment. They have to see it. So if we just get a call and say, we've noticed that there's been an increase of speeding on this location at this spot, that is helpful. But the make, the model of the car, what they think the person looked like, the deputies have to be there in order for that to be a moving violation for them.
May I make a comment? Okay. Thank you. I'm Mark Grindle, the gate supervisor, in case it needs to be put on there. One thing for the deputy is that this, and I'm bringing this up because I put my life in my hands every day, and so does my staff, and so does every tennis and pickleball player. This exit right here at the main gate is run every day, not just rolling through. I'm talking at 30, 40 miles an hour, even with that short stop to PV Drive North. It's incredibly dangerous. It happens all day long. They don't stop. I'll be standing at the yellow line, and I know unless I want to get hit, I have to stop, because it's just, so if you guys want to write about $4,000 in tickets, sit there for 20 minutes, because you'll write them all day long. It's just,
How does it get through at that speed with the gate down?
See, that is a very long gate, and so it stays up a little bit longer. And so what happens is, when it senses a car, when it hits a loop, it'll go back up. But so cars just have the ability just to keep speeding through it, one after another. It's not just piggybacking. They could be 3 or 4 car lengths, behind it. So it's just a constant problem. And I just worry about people's safety there. And so it's just something to consider for the deputy and his team there. So as far as traffic complaints go, we get probably 5 or 10 every month. People call the gates, and, we tell them to call you down at City Hall, but, they want this and that, and it's like, we can't do anything. I can't give you their name or their license plate number, so we try and work with you guys to help it out, so. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
So, sorry, I'm gonna have to speak up on this. So everybody virtually, and then maybe not Vieta, but coming out the gate, you come down and you wanna press the gate up so you can go through. And I don't even know, I guess there's a stop sign there.
There is.
But really, it's, the stop sign is so you know that the gate's gonna open, and you get up there, and if it's open and it's coming back down, and you go, and it goes up, you go. And that's the same thing going in the gate. So I realize there's stop signs there, but the stop signs are there really to allow the gate to do what it needs to do. That's my take on it. So I think if it ever gets to become an enforcement thing, I think prior to that happening, it should be warnings, not tickets. And number two, maybe there needs to be more, because it's right where the gate is, it's not a, it's not an aesthetically necessarily open space. Maybe there needs to be better signage that people are going across there.
Now, I was gonna ask, is that the stop sign that is sort of like not a real stop sign, not the reflective,
No, it's reflective. It's reflective.
is it, is that a smooth face on it?
It's a little more colorful, I think.
We've got there's one that's about 6 feet tall that is on the east side of the street, and then we just added one,
Hold on,
that's
I'm
just.
sorry, if I can get Marcus.
Oh, I'm sorry, I always forget.
Only because I want to be mindful of the amazing viewers that are watching this meeting that, they can participate.
There are two stop signs on the exit lane for the main gate, and, there's one on the east side of the street, which is, I think 6, 7 feet off the ground. We also added one, at the little stanchion that's there in the middle of the road, just as an added measure. So, so there are two stop signs. It is painted in the road as well. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, and if I could just say, if somebody is waiting to cross, I always stop, and everybody should stop if somebody's waiting to cross. I 100% get that, and that should be a violation. I mean, that, definitely a ticket should be written for that.
Right.
But if there's nobody there, I hope that it becomes a gray area as far as cars rolling through.
Yeah, it's just interesting. I didn't realize that it was just a stop sign for the gate, not to stop and, like any four-way stop.
My take.
I think a lot of people roll through that based on the movement of the gate. I mean, I certainly slow down considerably. I would admit that I don't always come to a complete stop before I pass through the gate arm. It is a good comment, though, that, I guess what the expectations are.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, rolling through is one thing. This is a drag race to get through the green light.
No,
And I'm talking 40, 50 miles an hour through that lane, not rolling.
within inches yesterday.
Although I'm tempted to do that to make that green light,
I know,
I don't. I'm just, the temptation is overridden by my concern for safety, so I don't do that, but I can, if you're out there
Right.
literally 24/7, I can see where you experience
Yep.
that type of action, so.
Okay.
All right, thank you for your comments.
All right, thank you.
All right, unless there's any additional comments from commissioners?
My husband's had a series of events that are, and it's just something that maybe we could put in the blue letter. Going down Portuguese Bend, people, just before you get to Wagon Lane, blind driveway, dark, bushes and all, but people backing out and then going in lanes and turning around and going down. And you're coming down the hill or coming up the hill, and this car backs out into the traffic across both lanes. And just maybe a warning to people, they should turn around in their driveway and come out head first, because you should not be backing out into a major road without being able to see what's coming up and down. I don't know if just a warning of people, but it's that one house all the time. And
I've never seen that, but it is a dangerous activity. I couldn't imagine backing out.
and I wouldn't want to do it,
think
but
most
I thought, I don't know if just a little blurb in the paper sometime might, to warn people it's safety to drive head first. I don't know whether that could be. So that was my enter.
Thank you. All right. Longest traffic report ever, but thank you for all your comments. Much appreciated. And in our meeting next month, presumably, we'll have a meeting next month. I'm sure we're going to talk about that. But if you could align your documents with what we have, that would be great. All right, thank you. All right, do we need a motion to receive and file? Is that what it is? Could I get a motion to receive and file? So moved. From our newest commissioner. Second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries. I guess we're on to 10A, right?
That's correct, sir.
Consideration of the relocation for a driveway apron and driveway at 6 Chuckwagon Road.
Stephanie's gonna take this.
Thank you. Okay. Good morning, honorable traffic commissioners. I'm here to present a relocation of a driveway apron for the subject property located at 6 Chuckwagon Road. This is a vicinity map of the subject property. As you can see, it's located right here, Chuckwagon. This is Eastfield Drive, coming down Eastfield Drive, turning left onto Chuckwagon. There's this curve right here, but it fronts on Chuckwagon. So the whole frontage of the property fronts on Chuckwagon Road. And I'd also like to say that this is a very challenging lot. The buildable pad area is very limited due to the steepness. The net lot area is 72,510 square feet, but the buildable pad area is only 19,200 square feet. A little bit of background. Like I said, it's RES1 zone. The net lot area is 72,508 square feet, 1.66 acres. There is an existing building pad, which is 19,200 square feet. There is an existing single-family residence with an attached garage that's going to be demolished for this new project. There were 3 previous planning commissioner meetings. It was first presented on April 15th, 2025, May 20th, and then June 17th. And at those meetings, the planning commissioners advised the applicant to redesign the project, preferably lowering the building pad and revising the driveway and garage areas. This is the proposed site plan. Right now, there is an existing driveway. It's hard to see right here, but this here is the existing driveway. So it leads, this is the existing driveway apron, and this right here is the existing driveway. That leads to the existing garage that is right here. It's kind of hard to...
Is that narrow relative to the proposed driveway?
Yes, it is that narrow. It's a very narrow and steep driveway. I have a actual aerial photograph that will actually show more detail. So this is it's really narrow and it's relatively steep. I believe the steepness could be at 22%. But that leads to the existing garage area right here. So the lot has a relatively smaller buildable pad area. So the applicant was seeking to possibly, right now, what's existing here is the garage, and the livable spaces is right here. So it was they decided to actually flip this around because the views are better from this side here. So actually, this will be where the livable space area will be, the living room and livable space area. And then they were going to relocate the existing garage to this side over here. So the garage is actually flipped around to where livable space here, garage area down here. This was the first proposed driveway. They were going to keep the same driveway apron, but they were just going to change the orientation of the driveway. And due to the planning commission meeting, the planning commissioners, like I said, asked them to redesign the driveway location. So that's where
this secondary driveway is proposed now, and that's what you guys have seen in your packets. Yes, it's going to be, they're relocating driveway. So first was they were going to keep this driveway apron, but they were going to use this driveway, change the driveway. But now they're proposing to get rid of this apron right here and relocate it to this new apron. So this is what you guys are reviewing. You guys are reviewing this driveway apron right here.
Looking at plans that show other driveways that, I mean,
It's only one, they're closing the old one.
Yeah.
And,
so
Have a new
these are more planning commission
correct,
items.
she showed alternative layouts.
But can we only focus on the proposed
Sure.
driveway at this time?
So the new driveway apron will encroach 10 feet into the 20-foot side setback, and the new driveway apron,
And that's at the far right we're talking about, right?
yes, right here. This is an existing driveway apron.
Yeah.
And this is the new proposed driveway apron that you guys are reviewing today.
Okay, that's what we're going to be considering.
Yes.
Okay, thank
So it's 80 feet, it's approximately 80 feet, relocated 80 feet south. It's about 20 feet wide, and it's relocated 80 feet south. So this is a little better of a view right here, as you can see. This is the existing site conditions right here. This is the old driveway apron and the old driveway. It's relatively steep and leads up to the garage. This yellow spot right here is going to be where the new proposed driveway apron is going to be located. This is the staking. It's about 20 feet, 21 feet wide. And it was staked on September 18th. So our recommendation is to open the meeting, take public testimony, close the public hearing, and discuss the proposed project. I also wanted to, about public concerns. We did have one public concern. We did have Alan Rigg, who is the consultant and representative for 4 Chuckwagon Road. He came into the city to look at the revised site plan and driveway plans. That concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, the architect is here to answer any questions. All right, thank you.
Is this really a public hearing?
No.
Okay, all right.
Oh.
So, all right, questions first of all from our staff? None? From the traffic, could we get your report?
Yes, I was able to go and review the field conditions, the existing and the proposed, once it was staked. For me, the proposed driveway is in a more ideal location based on the previous driveway really was by the curve and really had a blind spot as you came out. So the new relocated is much, it's more ideal just from a sight distance. I like the width. I think it's just going to be just a better exit and entrance for the residents and what they have there now.
How
So
steep is the new driveway?
I don't look for it for steepness.
You don't either? I'm just
Right.
curious. Okay.
No, I didn't. It looks a little, I would say it's at least more than 10%, right? The driveway, do you know the steepness? I mean, I'm just going by what I saw, but it's not graded.
It's really not relevant. But
Yes.
Looking at location and safety of the
It is an
driveway.
improvement from the existing.
Okay, all right. Any questions from commission members?
No, I didn't drive by, but I did look at all of the overhead imagery that I could find, and our driveway is located on an inside curve like this one is, and zero visibility, so, I couldn't even dream of backing out of our driveway. But, so I think what I see here is, almost a straight approach, which has to be a lot safer.
Okay, is there public comment on this?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm the applicant, I'm happy to. Steph, can you move the mic?
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, also my first traffic commission meeting. And thank you for the great presentation. I know we're only gonna focus on the apron today, which is your portion of it. This is a reaction to the public comment from planning commission, so there is a bit of crossover. the slope of the driveway depends on the length and where I'm trying to get to, just establishing that. And I had a long driveway to get rid of that steepness. Moving it over to accommodate where the comments were coming from the public is going to change what I need to do to develop the length of the driveway so that I can make it meet the fire department minimum, which is, to answer the question, that's what I'm shooting for. So the apron location is just the start of where I'm going to have to modify this project to. And I really appreciate all the comments about the limitations on the lot and certainly the existing steepness. Just like you said, when you're coming down, even facing forward, you can't quite wrench your head around because of this turn at the corner. So, yeah, that's all. I'm here for any response to anything that anybody may have, and thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, any further discussion from the commission? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
You got your apron.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, that takes us to 10B, consideration and discussion regarding potential speed limit pavement markings along Crest Road and other arterial roadways.
Good morning, Chair and Commission. This item's coming to us as a result of some brief discussion during matters from Traffic Commission at the last meeting, specifically from Vice Chair Bobbitt, who unfortunately is not with us today. And what Vanessa has done, and I'll hand it off to her in a second, has just put into a small high-level report some information related to pavement markings for speed limits on the major arterials, if so desired. The primary point of discussion was Crest Road. If at the end of discussion with Vanessa, the body would like to pursue this further, then staff would do a little bit more research and come back with a more specific and elaborate report. I'll hand it over to Vanessa.
If you recall, the last meeting, we had a pretty good conversation regarding payment markings and how they can maybe enhance the speed limit notification to the drivers of the community or those that visit. The memorandum just addresses the regulations regarding the California MUTCD, and it is left to engineering judgment. It is a tool to complement or, reinforce the idea of the speed limit. You don't have to do it, but if you are having speed limit concerns or violations, it is something that can be done to reinforce it. So this would be a payment marking only for the regulatory sign, not for your warning. And it would be adjacent to where the sign is posted. Again, it's optional, but it is a tool that is used to reinforce,
If we were to approve these pavement markings, say at the entrances, at like you said, at the where the sign is there any requirement that you have to install them
everywhere?
sign? No, wherever there's a sign posted.
Correct. No, not necessarily. However, from a traffic engineering standpoint, I always recommend consistency because, again, someone will come here and be like, why do you have it here and not over here, right?
Because it's the entrance to the city would be my argument. But
Yes,
I just want to make
but
sure that there's
no-
no regulatory requirement.
No,
if
there
we
is
wanna
no
limit it.
requirement. What I would recommend if the committee decides to go in that direction is to just document it why it was chosen very clearly to just done in certain locations and not others.
I'd like to ask the deputy a question, if you could come up for a second. So are you familiar with what we're talking about here? Where we would paint the speed limit on the pavements, at certain signs? Have you seen that anywhere else in the peninsula? Because I haven't, but I'm just curious if, in your travels around.
I don't,
You worked at 2 other cities, Karina, did you see it anywhere?
Not in PVE.
I can't recall, I've seen it in other cities and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like, I've seen it in, I believe, Lakewood. But I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of anything in
Right.
RPB or even Lomita.
it may not be a bad thing because it may be, so, oh, I've never seen that before, you know, it's like anything that gets the attention, don't know how effective it'll be, but, you
Yeah.
know, it's like on the 110, not the freeway, but north of the freeway interchange when the off-ramps say 9 miles an hour or something like that. 9 miles an hour, I got my attention, you know, and anything that kind of stands out that's not bordering on silly, you know, you can go too far with that too, of course, but, you know, it is an attention getter, I think.
I will say I've designed thousands of pavement and delineation plans. It is not one that is used often, but it is used. And so again, it depends what the message is, you know. It's just, I see it more often. I see more around schools and things of that nature, obviously reinforcing the school zone and the fact that it has to be 25 miles. But it's not one that is used all the time. But again, there's nothing wrong with using it either.
It makes me think of, Vieta, you commented on this a few times about the speed limit posting with the word absolute below it. It's like, that's an unusual sign. Oh, got my attention though. Okay, any questions or comments from the other commission members?
And Chair, I do want to point out the initial point that the Vice Chair was trying to make was to have a repetitive amount of markings as you went along Crest to remind people, because we typically only have signs at the entrance and maybe further down by Eastfield. And I think his idea was that we could remind people that the speed limit is as such. But to Vanessa's point, the only way to really do that would be to add additional signs that would then, you know.
More than one, I know there's a sign when you enter at the Crest Gate, there's a 30-mile-an-hour sign. I know there's more than just that sign as you go through.
I drove it to understand the impact. And you have, Crest in particular, I think, has 3, maybe 4 going toward Eastfield, and I think 3 total coming toward the Crest Gate. Don't quote me because I don't have my notes, but.
I know it's more than just the gate entrance, so yeah, there would be opportunities. I'm also thinking about budget. I'm sure this isn't cheap to lay down paint on the pavement that's, you know, designed to last, so I'm sure it'd be reflectorized and, you know, all the special stuff that goes on street markings and have to be maintained because you drive over it, it's going to fail at some point, so. Okay, so what we're being asked today is to ask staff to do a more thorough report.
If the body wishes us to pursue this as a potential option, then yes, we would do further research, talk to the RHCA because they maintain the streets, and right
what?
now they maintain the streets as well as the striping, and we would.
They don't paint. I thought.
No, but because they do striping when they are doing paving, it would be in staff's best interest to see if there is a way to have that done as a part of an existing project versus, to your point, a standalone that the city would handle in partnership with the RHCA. So, yes, if this is something you want us to pursue, then we would come back with a more detailed report. How many areas are affected? That way you could consider not only Crest Road, but Eastfield and/or Portuguese Bend Road, your 3 major arterials, and try to potentially also get some costs.
Okay.
I don't see there's any harm in doing it.
Yeah, I don't either. Again, for the benefit of our newest commission member, there's this weird division of responsibility, if you're not already familiar, between the association and the city. The association handles the pavement and the street maintenance, and the city is, we don't actually do the striping and install signs, but we're financially responsible for that. So it's kind of a, you know, an interesting collaboration we have with regard to the streets and street maintenance, so.
Okay, thank you. Maybe just a question for the deputy. Are these markings generally effective in your experience? Do people see them and slow down?
I wouldn't have any statistical data to provide an answer for that. I'm not 100% sure. I would like to think that it would grab your attention and at least, like you were saying, at least attempt to slow down to see what it says.
ahead.
I'm not 100% sure on the effectiveness, or I'd have to do some type of research and look into something like
Well, if you're writing a citation, you can always just point to it, it's right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of this back of the sign that you can't see.
I'll make a motion
I'll second.
after Judith talks.
Public comment.
Yeah, come on up, Judith.
When this was discussed before with Ty, I told him that I thought I had seen this somewhere, and it turns out it wasn't here, it was Malibu, because some of you know I go back and forth a bit, but, so they do have them on the road in Malibu, and it's not, it's kind of right between where Joffrey's Restaurant is and Corral Canyon, as you're going up a hill, and you do notice it in the road, also because it's uphill. So somebody might call Malibu and see how effective they think they've been there. Because they also run DUI checkpoints, which they happen to be doing this weekend, and they actually sent a notice out saying they're gonna be doing it this weekend. But they might know how effective putting this speed on the pavement is. So.
Thank you, Judith. Okay.
I'll make a motion to request staff to evaluate further the, I guess, cost or effective, not even effectiveness, because we don't know.
Well, let's see, what was the ask? So you receive, file, and provide direction. So is that sufficient direction to staff? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
Is there a second? Sure. Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. 10C, consideration and discussion regarding existing parking ordinances for possible revisions or updates.
Good morning again, Chair and Commission. So this item came before you twice now, and we took it to the City Council back in August, and their recommendation was that it gets kicked back to the Traffic Commission for further discussion related to anything within the municipal code specific to parking, all the things we've already kind of discussed on a higher level. We were talking about specifically red flag days and whatnot. I think the intent of the council, and the chair could of course weigh in from his perspective as well, is that the Traffic Commission flush out some ideas as to where do we need to make changes to our existing municipal code related to parking, and that's across the spectrum of parking issues, whether it's the you can't park overnight, between the hours of 2 and 4 a.m. For 1 hour, right? But really exploring and tightening these up. So with that said, let me express that I don't believe, from the staff perspective, that the commission has to come out of today with all the answers. But the municipal code is here in the staff report. This is something you can begin talking about today. We can agendize it at repeated meetings, allow each of the commissioners time to kind of mull over it, have discussions. You may want to create your own subcommittee to flush it out and bring recommendations back to the Traffic Commission. But at some point, ideally, the Traffic Commission would make recommendations for changes to the municipal code that would be taken to the council and changed via ordinance. So with that said, I'm sure we are all available to answer any questions if we can, but this is really for you guys to start and continue discussions on.
Yeah, this is a really comprehensive,
Yeah.
could be a comprehensive discussion, so it's not gonna get, I don't think we're gonna come up with a recommendation today.
I did not anticipate that, but if you did, that would be amazing.
Sorry. Charlie.
Not ready.
Yeah, I'm not ready to
Yeah.
come out with anything new. Red Flag Day was an easy one, but aside from that, I need to look at this and if we can postpone it or put it back on. For
Yeah,
next time.
there's so many conflicting or potentially conflicting rules we have. One of them that was brought to my attention by a resident was, if I understand correctly, you're allowed to park on the unpaved portion of the road easement. So essentially between the pavement and somebody's fence. That's acceptable. But so many of our streets end in cul-de-sacs, and for the most part, the cul-de-sac is paved up to what would otherwise be a parking area. So you have very little unpaved surface between, there's very little area between the paved surface and who's, fence or gate right there. So it essentially rules out the legal parking in cul-de-sacs. And I'd never thought about that before, because everybody parks in the cul-de-sac, but it's inconsistent with our rules, and I just hate that kind of stuff. That's where, you get neighbor on neighbor because they're annoyed because of construction activities and the trucks are parking, at the end of the cul-de-sac. They're not, the parking is not the issue, it's the construction work usually, but somebody will complain about that, and, then the sheriff's department has to go out and evaluate the situation to decide, is this a violation or not. I just hate when that happens, but I don't know how we resolve something like that. And that's just one thought that came to me. I've lived here for almost 30 years, and I thought, wow, I never thought about that before. So this is going to require some further consideration and discussion. I just don't know how to go about doing that. We could roll it to the next meeting certainly, but it would take a fair amount of time from our commissioners to do individual research and evaluation on this and come back with recommendations. A subcommittee is not a horrible idea. I just don't know which of us have time or a desire to add one more obligation to our plates. I would tend to not want to participate myself. I've got quite a handful of obligations already, but I'm open to hear what other commissioners might have to say on this.
I'm just not sure in our little town how intense this is as to the parking and how many violations we have, how much it impacts people. Is it more neighbor on neighbor, and this one's irritating me because he's parking in front of my house? Our cul-de-sac, we happen to be the only property where you can get off the street, because everybody else's property plants right up to the edge of the road. Okay, so where are people if they have company? Where are they supposed, you can't have anybody park on the street? I mean, I don't think we can eliminate that, and people don't all have driveways that can accommodate somebody to come and visit. So I mean, having lived this for 50 years, everybody that remodeled, they were always parked in front of our house, but that was just, I mean, that's the way life is. So I mean, I guess I don't get uptight about a lot of things. And I don't know, when we start redoing all of our rules, it's a big project, and I'm not sure how intense it's necessary. I don't know.
Well, you're right from a high level.
Yeah.
However, I know our city staff gets burdened with these complaints, and there was
Yeah.
one circulating a couple of weeks ago about somebody parking in front of their house with a van with advertising on the side of it, within the view corridor, and and it got to the point where I was being copied in a lot of these messages, and all I could think of was, oh my gosh, do we have to change the laws, the rules in Rolling Hills to accommodate this one situation? But you may want to comment on this.
So I think for us, what we need to do for staff, we need to be able to, it could be a potential domino effect when you make this type of change.
There's unintended consequences in everything we do.
Yeah, it's a natural consequence, right? So, I think what I think is best, and this is a recommendation from Vanessa as well, is that let's go back and look at what other agencies that are similar to us. You have Hidden Hills, you have Bradbury. These are agencies that are similar in nature. We're gated. Both have a greater exposure to fires, and they also have something similar like we do, and we're probably dealing with the same stuff. So I think that what we do, we also have to work in parallel with the community association to make sure that it aligns with their, what their requirements are. So we have to take a little more of a deeper dive on this. But I will tell you, I completely agree. I think that there are neighbors that get annoyed with one another, and the station is contacted, And I will tell you, the deputies have gone out there and have issued citations based on neighbors calling on neighbors. And it's no stranger to the organization, so I know that's been done. And it's not all the time, but it does occur. So I think it's something we might want to have to peel the onion a little more and kind of research it, so.
I would really like to push it back to, council has pushed it to the commission.
Yep.
And I would like to push it back to staff to take a look.
Yeah.
I don't want to overburden staff, so I don't want to just kick my time to your time. I understand, how valuable that is, and we're not exactly overflowing with excess staff members right now. I totally understand all this.
Can we just push this off
We could come back at a date
next time?
undetermined.
And maybe we can all look at it, think about what we can do, and maybe one or two of us can coordinate with staff to do something for the following meeting.
And I think it would be valuable to have Ty present, because there are,
He was
there are,
primary.
yeah, well, on the red flag days part, but just the parking in general, there are, overlapping jurisdictions and issues. I think about my street, there's no off-street parking on my street because of vegetation and the shortness of the street and the cul-de-sac at the end. If I have more than two people come over, I have to ask somebody who's got a stable at the end of the block to use that, and then I have to shuttle with if I have a party or something, I have to shuttle with the golf cart. So I recognize that.
There's no blocks here, in fact.
Sorry?
There's no blocks here.
Block. Street.
Understood.
If the commission desires, I think what staff can do between now and the November meeting is, one, to the city manager's point, evaluate Hidden Hills and Bradbury, see what their codes are like, do a little bit more of an in-depth look at all the municipal code sightings right now as it relates to parking, internally make some recommendations and talk about it maybe with the traffic engineer, and see if we can identify what are the high points that maybe the commission could focus on at that next meeting. And if we are able to accomplish that ahead of agenda posting, maybe share some of those thoughts early on, so that before you get the agenda, you have some time to at least think about it. And then when you get the agenda, and prepare for the meeting, you at least will have had an opportunity to mull over some of the thoughts that we're able to share from a staff level.
There's one other city out there that I think is reasonably similar in profile to ours, and that's La Habra Heights. I don't know if you've ever thought about them. They're very close to us, except the roads aren't private.
Right.
It's small, hilly, twisty, windy roads, that kind of
That's
stuff.
a huge difference.
How's that? But it's not private?
Yeah, that's
No,
not
I
private.
understand. Well, other than Hidden Hills, we're not gonna find anything else that meets that criteria.
Yeah, I think just finding out what Hidden Hills, how they deal with it, if they've.
Have you been there?
I've been through, yeah.
Their streets are more,
They're wider.
yeah, they're wider, they're more, what's the word I'm looking for? Not finished, but,
I think they do
improved.
have more curb and gutter.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything's fancy there,
Yeah, it's darn two-story houses.
More civilized.
and all kinds of stuff.
But their roads typically are more improved than ours. Ours are pavement, and pavement is, and that's it. And theirs are pavement, sometimes a stormwater swale, sometimes curbs and a DG, so that is the closest we're gonna find to the private part, but, they definitely have more, infrastructure. Okay, so, go ahead, Bill.
Just a quick data point. About a month ago, the fire department came through to do their annual inspection of, close-knit brush too close to the house and everything. So we walked around with them. We happened to be home because we wanted to know what we needed to do, not just a letter that says you're okay. And we happened to mention that we were thinking about removing some of these half-dead oleanders that we inherited on the road side of the property. And the fire department representative said, well, he said, if you do that, make sure you plant 10 feet away from the road. Now, I don't know if that's a requirement and he said basically, so if there was a fire and they had to park a fire truck there, people could escape by getting around it. Because right now, like your road, there's zero parking on the street. If somebody parks, it's in the street and it blocks off one of the two lanes of a very, very narrow road. This is Quail Ridge Road North I'm talking about. And so I wonder if that 10 feet, I'll call it an easement for lack of a better word.
It is a requirement.
And when you're finished, I'd like to get a comment from the association if I could, because that's an ongoing question in the community.
Right.
Is that?
That's it.
Could one of you, would one of you like to comment on the question about the 10-foot distance from the pavement? Thank you, Artie.
So yeah, the fire department asked for the 10 feet. What we say is, if you take anything out, you can't plant in the easement. So we'd have to come out and stake out where your easement line is, and it's gotta be, beyond that. We're trying to get the 10 feet throughout the city, some people pushing back, but, it's all up to our board of directors how far we can go with the easements. But yeah, if you take out of the easement, you cannot plant in the easement again, so.
That's basically what he told us, right?
Yeah.
So even if it's a hill going up.
Correct.
You still need, okay.
Correct. So every street has a different size easement. We measure off the center line of the road out. I'd be happy to come meet you and measure it out with you if you ever want to do that. I'm Artie, the maintenance supervisor for the association. But yeah, it's pretty cut and dry. If you take out of the easement, you can't put back in the easement.
Right. Well, beside between the vegetation that goes right up to the pavement and the overhang of the trees, my street's a mess. I mean, it's for evacuation purposes, and I live at the end of it, so it's like, oh my gosh, every day I come home and I look side to side, I look up and down, and think.
Well, just so you know, I am working on coming down that way as far as vegetation, tree trimming and stuff like that. We did a few years ago over by Charlie's house. We're probably gonna do another run through down that way, so.
For the record, I'm not complaining.
It's okay. I've noticed, so we're making our way that way.
You know, a huge tree fell down yesterday afternoon, right at Crest Road and Portuguese Road.
Yeah, I passed it this morning.
Yeah.
The road open, but since it fell off property, it's on the homeowner to take care of it.
Right.
I wonder how so did you have to cut it back off the road? Did it?
Yeah, it blocked the whole downhill lane.
Yeah.
We just cut it back and I contacted the homeowner. They're gonna get it hopefully taken care of today.
There was somebody out there this morning, so it looked like they were working on it. Okay. All right, so the request of staff is to receive and file. You have adequate direction?
You can make a motion, receive and file, and then I just say if there's anything that the city manager or myself stated that you don't want us to do, then let us know. Otherwise, I think we'll go forward staff-wise with the recommendations that were made.
I think what I'd like to see is high-level recommendations, I don't want to get too deep, no pun intended, into the weeds on this at this time. I mean, we may want to, as more information becomes available to us, we may want to take a deeper dive. But I think we didn't talk too much about it, but the red flag days, I think there's generally support, not universal support, at least from the council members. There was some concerns about parking. If there's an event scheduled and it's a red flag day, and you can't park on the street, that's gonna be very disruptive. And, of course, I get the safety component of this, but also, there was some balance that was under consideration at that time. Okay?
Yes, sir. Do you want to make the motion to receive and
Got a
file?
motion to receive and file? Anyone?
I'll second.
I think she thought you made the
I'll
motion.
second.
Okay, very good. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right. Okay. That was 10C, right? Okay, 10D, consideration and discussion regarding ways the city can educate residents regarding e-bike regulations, prohibition, and safety measures. You know, Bill, these meetings usually don't go on this long,
No, no problem.
like a council meeting. here.
Lunch being brought in.
Late breakfast.
So this item is very similar to the one and has the staff report from the last meeting where we presented basically high-level information on what's happening around the South Bay as it relates to e-bikes. At a recent council meeting, Chair Wilson had asked us to bring this to the council, the same report for them to just mull over and consider. And there were some comments made during that meeting by Councilmember Black specific to safety concerns for individuals riding e-bikes in the community along the major arterials, and that we didn't have safe pathways, say on the easements, dedicated for either pedestrians or e-bikers, and that if they're riding up and down Portuguese Bend Road, that it is a bit of a danger for those individuals. And so there was a mention of the thought and consideration for maybe in the future talking with the association about could the as-built environment be modified to accommodate that from a safety perspective. The other aspect of this report is we've added in some more detailed information as we discussed at the last Traffic Commission meeting for what staff could do to help educate residents via the Blue newsletter, in partnership with the association, in partnership maybe with other entities like the South Bay City Council of Governments or the Palos Verdes Unified School District, possibly hosting an event with the school district somewhere in the city. So what we've tried to do is present a little bit more detailed information on what is happening right now on the peninsula. And I would say primarily the Unified School District is taking the lead on that with training any students or requiring any students to go through a training if they want to ride an e-bike to school and get a specific pass to be able to do so. They're only starting, I believe, with fourth graders and up. So again, this is a report as a receive and file, but if the body has any further direction other than what staff is recommending that we can do on a continual basis, we are, as staff, open to suggestions of the commission related to the matters that I've just discussed. And then if the city manager or the traffic engineer has any further comments, I would defer to them at this point.
Okay, questions of staff from the commissioners? All right. Public comment? Okay, then back for discussion. What would you folks like to do? This is getting kicked around a little bit here. It's comes to us, goes to the council, comes back to us. Is there any action expected from the school district anytime soon about their consideration of this?
So they're already active and running with their program. Staff reached out to them, asked them if they had any new additional information other than what we had presented to you the last time. They do not. So staff just presented some more detailed information about the partners they're working with from an education perspective. We have not talked to them about potentially hosting an event within the city for residents and students that are part of the Unified School District, but these are options we're presenting as thoughts that we could do if we wanted to go above and beyond sharing educational information via the outlets we have right now to do so with our residents.
And Chair, if I may, we have on the second page of your staff report, these are all the things that we can do as an organization. You know, having a push, a campaign that really gets information out there, not just to our residents, but the residents and their children. I think this is a good emphasis for us to get out there and start putting things in the Blue newsletter, hand out pamphlets. We do see families a lot more now coming to the city hall and having their children ride their bikes. They're not necessarily e-bikes, but I think it's an opportunity for them to kind of utilize the campus for that. If we want to have some.
Ride the bikes here?
So they'll come and they'll park, they'll take the bikes out of their car, and they'll sometimes ride around the campus just here. So if this could be a nice viable location to have a educational campaign with one of these groups, so, you know, you have the Pedal Ace, E-Bike Sense, maybe we can partner up with the Sheriff's Department and really just have something here on campus. Could be an opportunity to get parents to come out, they look at the bikes, and so there's many different things that we can do, more of an educational campaign, and we can start doing that. We're going to definitely organize with neighboring agencies, RPV, PVE, RHE, and the Sheriff's Department, the Palos Verdes States Police Department are already organizing an event that we're already participating in. So we have that. We can just expand on it by having something that we can host here just for our Rolling Hills families and make it more of a private, intimate, you know, session just for our residents and their families. So that's an option. But these are kind of some examples that we as staff are presenting that we can do.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, can I, my thought in reading it was that the sheriff cannot cite anyone because we do not have a law against it. Am I correct in reading it that way? That the homeowners said that they, even though we had the incident of the e-bike and the horse, they could not cite them even though they had a picture of the person, because we don't have anything on the books that says you cannot do that. Now, I thought we had rules that you can't ride bikes and things on the horse trails, but maybe we don't. If that's what we need, is that where we should start?
So the rules come from the association as far as the trails, so we don't have, the city doesn't have jurisdiction over that.
We need a city, but this is where we, you know, when we wanted to have, enforce the homeowner situations, we had to get a city to put in the rules so that the police or the sheriffs could do it. Is that where we are now?
I don't
We
believe
need,
so.
the homeowner has a rule, but do we need to put a city rule that says it so that the police can do it? That's what we've had before.
It is a municipal code violation to ride motorbikes or bikes on the trails. The issue is that a officer or deputy would need to witness it, as the city manager had mentioned in an earlier staff report, to be able to issue a citation. So the pictures are not
Oh, okay.
good
But we
enough
do have a rule.
for them to be
Okay,
able to cite.
That's all I wanted, is to make sure we had that to start with.
So to deviate off the e-bikes, just, well, it's the same subject, but different aspect of it. You're right, Councilman Black did bring up improvements to the roadways to allow for, and it wouldn't be limited to e-bikes, it'd be for pedestrians or any non-vehicle.
Right, so I do want to remind that just the California Vehicle Code does allow for bicycles to use the road. That is the reality of it.
Yeah, I don't think it was prohibiting them, it was a safety, it was a
Right.
safety consideration.
Correct.
To be on the road,
The reality.
passing the vehicles.
Correct. The reality of what would be needed to emphasize that bicyclists are welcome to use the road would be additional striping, maybe isolated lanes, which the widths of your streets do not have that for, additional signage, which we've discussed, not ideal when you talk about share the road, but there's not much more than you can do. They can be out there and nothing you can do about it, you know?
I don't think there was any intent to prohibit the bikes,
Right.
the bikes from using
On
the
regular
street,
roads.
but to encourage them not to use the street because there's a better alternative.
Right.
A safer alternative on,
On
off
the-
the pavement. So
Okay.
improving the roadway, not to include the pavement, but,
Mm-hmm.
like on Crest, we have, in some areas, there's a nice 4 to 6 foot wide shoulder that's nice and smooth with
Mm-hmm.
DG that encourages walkers to walk there instead of
Right.
in the street. And I think the intent of the council member was to also encourage bikes
Right,
on Portuguese Bend not to use the roadway if they have
right, if they have the DG path.
a better alternative. But this gets into collaboration with the association and the budget thereof, and there's a lot to consider. I mean, you just don't legislate,
Right.
the e-bikes should or will use the unimproved portion of the roadway if
Right.
it's not, desirable.
Can I say,
Right.
you're gonna have to be so careful, because if you're telling people not to ride on the road, DG is really dangerous. I think it's dangerous to walk on. It's really dangerous for bikes, because basically you have sort of a cement layer of the DG below, and then you have rolling pebbles on top. It's so easy to slide on that. You're just
Also-
asking for trouble.
Chipped stuff. When people have the chips on the easement, you're not gonna ride a bicycle on those, cause
Most people don't.
I got off the road one time, get out of the car's way, into the chips and pour. I was off that bicycle in no time. So, we do have very rural situation. My concern was the e-bikes on the trails, and that is where I was concerned. Riding in the street, I don't think we can do much, but I think we can, whether it's more signage or like you say, in the emails or on our blue letters and all, the safety that they cannot ride them on the trails.
Deputy, could you come up for a minute?
And I have to be honest, I have not seen a lot of bicycle community on your regular streets. I have experienced it here as well, where parents come and park. They have their kids right through the traffic signal and maybe right down to Dapplegray. I don't know if they still do that, but I've seen that in the past. But I haven't seen it on the streets that
It's
much.
interesting in Rolling Hills because it's hard to teach a kid how to ride a bike here. I had to take my kids, I had to put the bikes in the back of my truck and go, when it was open on the weekends, to Rancho Del Mar where it's flat. And also safe. I don't know if this is the best place to learn how to ride a bike with parking and,
Yeah, they use the pathway, and I see them, they just kind of do the little pathway, and just, they don't get in the street, but just a little.
but the alternatives are limited. Crest is relatively flat, but it's also got a lot of speeding traffic. Not a good place to ride a bike. And most other streets are so hilly, the kid gets on the bike and they can't even build up speed to stay up before they're going straight up the hill, so, Bill?
So just a question, because I'm still relatively new in the community, but how big a problem is this? And I ask because I see maybe 2 bikes a week on all of our roads here. Now, maybe I'm on the wrong places at the wrong time, but I just hardly ever see a bicycle. And there are 2 e-bikers on Crest Road. It's a couple. I don't know who they are. I see them maybe once a week, but they're look to me to be very careful, very calm people going about 20 miles an hour or so. So I'm just asking if this is a big problem or is it not a big?
Everybody has their own experience, just like you did. I walk Crest usually on Saturday and Sunday, and usually see at least one or more e-bikers. And being on a flat road, adults, it's not, it's probably no more dangerous than a non-e-bike, because you see those too. That's you don't see. When you see somebody riding a bike, a non-e-bike up Portuguese Bend, they're serious. That's quite the ride. And then, of course, we all get off on our own cul-de-sacs, and we don't see whatever else happens in the city. But, it's been the experience of enough people, I guess, to bring this up as a concern. So, but my question for you was, are there a lot or a few or any citations written to e-bikers in the peninsula that you're aware of? I mean, are you seeing much enforcement activity?
It's few and far between. A lot of the encounters have been with like the juveniles and the younger population. A lot of times they don't stop, and there's nothing we can really do when they just take off. And I know the Penn Center has a huge issue with a bunch of kids, and I think it's kind of died down a little bit now that people are back in school. but I know throughout the summer it was a big issue throughout the peninsula. We do our best if we can get a few people there to kind of corral it, and then they can issue a citation. That would be, I'll double check with one of the core deputies, with the community deputies. They probably have better statistics on how many citations have actually been issued for that.
Like you reported, I would suspect it's probably pretty low, and the ones that are issued to, like you said, juveniles.
Yeah, I would,
Showing it to their parents, I mean, you know. they
yeah,
can go
I would
and
say it's probably on the lower end, just because it's a little harder to get, to stop them.
I will tell you, one son lives in Long Beach, and when he heard we had this on our agenda, he said, don't let them come in the city in Long Beach. They are in groups of 50 or 100, and they get on their little computers and they say, we're going to ride here. And he said they're just taking over the streets, and it's very dangerous. And they're all ages. I mean, that's the thing, how young they can be and have one of these. And I don't know, like you say, the training for these children, it's just amazing to me, the age that people will give them to their children. So, but anyway, that was his experience in the cities, that it's become a group thing, fun thing to do. I don't want to have happen on our peninsula.
Wide issue, and I think it's so new and such a new issue and topic. There's different comes down to there's like 3 or 4 different classifications of the electric bikes depending on the speed, the pedals, so some of them are actually considered motorcycles,
Yeah.
but it's
Which
trying to
level?
trying to determine that when you're trying to chase down a 15, 16-year-old and they don't have a worry in the world and they're just going to ride. It's a little hard. So they're trying to figure out some different ways to combat it. And I know the state has some different legislation that they're trying to pass through, but
Put
I
a
don't
kill
have.
switch on them.
Yeah, I wish.
Okay, so we're being asked to receive and file or provide direction.
Yeah. So, before you can direct staff to continue to push and promote the October 10th event that's going to be hosted somewhere in RPV, or hosted by RPV in conjunction with the PV High and the surrounding peninsula cities. And also, you can direct staff to do the as bulleted at the bottom of the second page of your staff report, which is utilize the regular blue newsletter, partner with RHCA on messaging, potentially create a web page to provide the same information on the website, continue to partner with the school district, and host community events where we can bring it to our community and family members.
Are these all options available to us to direct staff?
You can have us explore all of these if you like, and then we can.
Well,
That's the
again,
easy one, absolutely. I
well,
think.
which one?
All 5.
Okay, again, I don't want to overburden staff. You tell us, you know, what's the low-hanging fruit?
Blue newsletter, e-blast, and we already have the October 10th event on the book, so we'll continue to push that out. And we'll have to work on, give us some time to potentially do something in collaboration with our law enforcement partners and see what we can do that it could be something for our city. But those are the ones that are already kind of in place, we can start pushing information out.
Okay, so if a motion is made to direct staff to do all the above, is that acceptable to you? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, make that motion.
Somebody like, is that, okay?
Yeah.
Motion and a second, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you. Oh, winding down, matters from members of the traffic commissions.
None.
Anyone? Moving on to matters from staff.
Just one item this morning. So every November, the Traffic Commission meeting falls on Thanksgiving. And
How does that happen?
well, it's just set to be the fourth Thursday, and Thanksgiving is the fourth Thursday. And so I think to save ourselves the issue of that, we can come out of this particular meeting maybe with direction for how to approach that each year going forward in November specifically. In past years, staff typically recommends the Thursday before, the third Thursday, to hold the meeting. I will just point out that Vice Chair Bobbitt did reach out to me via email and said that he will not be here on that day. So he said he is available on November 13th, which is the second Thursday of the month. With that said, it would be great if the commissioners could share what day they are available in November, preferably on a Thursday, but it doesn't have to be. And then give staff direction as to should we, going forward, set the third Thursday or the second Thursday in November as a set in stone meeting date, so you are all aware of it going forward.
Well, I was looking at the Thursday after the 27th, and that's a community association meeting, so that's not going to work for Ty as well. So back to the 13th, I've got, no, that's not going to work either because that's the, I always forget the name of this committee, POSCRCL meeting.
Oh, is that the PPSC? Yeah.
Oh, 7:30.
Yeah.
So that's not going to work. So 13th. Neither the 13th before or after the scheduled meeting date works. So should we consider a non-Thursday? Is
You might have to go outside your typical Thursday meeting.
if I don't really want to do it the Wednesday before Thanksgiving because,
People might be traveling.
yeah, that could be a conflict.
About Thursday the 6th,
December 6th?
no, November.
Oh,
December gets
that's
hard.
also an association meeting date.
The association has one morning meeting and one evening meeting, which,
First Thursday of the month is the morning meeting.
okay,
That's the 6th.
that's the 6th.
So that won't work for Ty.
I can't November 6th.
Okay, so let's look closer to the 27th. Is anybody traveling the week of Thanksgiving that would conflict?
Traveling Tuesday through Friday.
Okay, so you're only available on Monday that week.
What
Is that
day?
correct? I'm talking about the 24th.
I have a doctor's appointment. No, yeah, I do.
Okay, so let's look the week before. Friday's not good for me. I'm looking at the 19th, it's not good. 18th,
Actually,
good.
I think I canceled that, the 24th, if you wanted that one. I think that one would
well, for
cancel.
me, that's looking like the best date. It depends on the other commission members, though.
Think so?
That's a Monday?
Yeah, Monday the 24th.
It works.
Okay.
It'll be a
We
big
don't-
day for you.
I know, bookends. Well, we don't know about Commissioner Bobbitt yet, but every other meeting that we considered kind of excludes him too, so we'll hope for the best for the 24th.
Okay.
And staff can definitely, we'll place this on here as a tentative. Let's just hope that we have agenda items.
I was
And
just,
if,
yeah, thank you for bringing that up.
and if we do
because-
not, then we will notify you in advance to let you know, hey, we're not ready to come back with the parking discussion just yet. We're not prepared to come back with, but we'll
Or there's
do
no
our best.
pesky park driveway approval.
Yes. But at least keep that as an option that may happen.
Are you gonna send a calendar invite out as a tentative?
I will.
Thank you.
Yes, and then the only other question would be, would you like to direct staff to, going forward, 2026 and forward, set a different Thursday within the month as our November meeting date?
So for 2026, that would fall on the 26th, the week before. Nothing scheduled at this point. Artie,
So the first Thursday is a morning meeting, the third Thursday is a night meeting.
okay, so we're looking at the third Thursday, I said the 19th, which is the third Thursday, and that's an evening meeting, you said? Okay, so presumably Ty would be available for a morning meeting? Don't know for sure, but my calendar is open for that.
I mean, the question is, would you like to just have staff present that as the third Thursday going forward for the month of November is the only change to our normal schedule.
Is that something we would consider at the next meeting?
We could, yeah.
Let's do that. Unless somebody objects to, already has an objection to a year from now.
No idea.
Happens. Book through the turn of the century, I think. Okay. Anything else? All right. Well, this longest, one of the longest.
Somehow I just sent out Evite out to everybody, yeah.
Oh, you invited us?
Sorry, Bill, I don't think I have you on there yet.
I was like, wow, that was
That's the only way I could do it, is inviting everybody, so I'll bring breakfast.
Coffee at least. All right, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Four.
Please say aye. Aye. We're adjourned.
Thanks, Artie.
Thanks, Artie. Thank you, Deputy.
Deputy, thank you.
Yeah.
Christie.